And welcome. Welcome on this beautiful Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? No, it's Tuesday. Tuesday, November the 29th, here at 12 noon in beautiful Ontario, Canada. We are here to do a special session with you. And this session is on a very important subject, a subject that can really make a big difference in the accomplishments and the progress and the distinction between getting things done and not getting things done. And that is a magical word. It is called focus. And good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it might be for you. We do have people joining us from all over the world, and we are delivering this over a 30-minute period of time. And we chose a very important subject today to share with you, to give you some guidance on how to increase your level of focus. Because the truth is this. Here's the truth, is that the more you focus on your outcome. Now, let me explain this, and I want you to hear all of the explanation, okay? The more you focus on your outcome, that means your goal, that means you have one, as you desire it to be, the better it's going to go for you. And when I say better, what I'm really referring to is the result, the manifestation of the goals that you set for yourself. And they only occur when you're focused on connecting to the outcome as if it's in your life. And many people, and maybe many of the people that are here with us today, study, and they study on a regular basis. Perhaps you are a part of our study group called Club Achieve. And if you're not, definitely check it out. Go to clubachieve.com. But the point is this: it's not enough to just study. Studying is extremely valuable. And I began studying success in January 1979. Now, I was young at the time, and I had never been interested in studying before, was not interested in focusing on studying before. But the reason why people get interested in studying or determine or just decide that they're going to dedicate themselves to studying is when they have a desire for a better life or for improved outcomes or improvements in their life condition as it is right now. And so if there's a desire to experience more abundance, as an example, more abundance in your life, then you could certainly have that, but you have to make a decision to claim it as your own and to focus on the achievement of that outcome. And it sounds very simple, right? It sounds like, okay, I get it. And I really believe a lot of people do this, in that they study, and as they're studying, they're nodding their head in agreement, going, okay, I get it. It makes sense. It's logical, but yet they don't do anything about it. And it's not that they don't want to do something about it, it's that they're so conditioned to be a certain way by practicing certain things every day over and over again that they're habitual, and that they aren't aware, simply aren't aware. It's just a place of unawareness of knowing what to do and how to really focus. And it definitely takes discipline. I was watching a video this morning online. I'm getting ready for a class that I'm delivering a little bit later today. And I was watching a video of my wonderful friend and mentor, very dear, dear friend, Bob Proctor, who passed away this year. And he was talking about, fascinatingly enough, he was talking about the subject of our event today, and that is focus. And he was talking about professional athletes or professionals, like people that are professionals aren't practicing. This is what Bob said. They're not practicing being a professional or practicing their art. They are actually engaged in the experience, the feeling state of the accomplishment. For example, a golfer, a professional golfer. And let's think about our topic for today, focus. Now, whether you're a professional golfer or you're not a professional golfer, this is very relevant for you. And he was talking about golfers don't go onto the fairway or onto the course to practice. They go onto the course to improve upon what they're already doing, even if they're the best in the world, or even if they're already one of the best in the world or already getting great results. Now, why is that? Why is it that somebody who could be considered the best in the world still works on their specialty or puts attention to the details of something that they're working on? The reason is because they understand the importance of improvement, constant and never ending improvement. And that only comes from focus. Now, if you're someone like me, and you're high energy, because I'm a very high energetic being, and you're somebody who may have what's clinically been diagnosed as attention deficit disorder, which simply means that you've got ability to focus on a variety of things at one time, or you could be involved in focusing on something and something else gets your attention and off you go. Now, I don't consider that necessarily a bad thing. I don't. I absolutely don't. As a matter of fact, if you look in history at some of the most successful, the most accomplished people in the world, what you will discover is many of them had ADD. Many of them had challenges with attention and with focus. And it doesn't mean that they're not focused. In fact, they know how to be focused. And they know how to be focused with intensity over perhaps shorter periods of time. And therefore, they have the ability, and we all have this ability, whether we're doing it or not is really up to you. But they have the ability that they're implementing, which is to give their undivided attention to something or to a project and give it their all. And by doing that, by having that focus, and by giving it the attention, what you'll find is you do improve upon things. Things will get better and better and better, and your consciousness will be elevated. And the way that we accelerate our results is by doing just that, is by intensifying our focus, by expanding our awareness, and our consciousness is elevated. And if you think about this, if you think about it this way, and there's a quote that goes like this: you don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step, because the truth is it's the same thing when you're working toward your goal. When you're working toward your goal, you don't know how you're going to get there, and you don't have to know how. This is one of the wonderful blessings in goal achievement, is you don't have to know how you're going to get there, but you absolutely have to determine you're going to get there. And so where focus comes in is when you're here and you've decided you're going to go here, what you focus on is being at that place, being at the place of accomplishment, being in the energy of this is already done. Your outcome is already accomplished. And that's where the focus comes in. So if you just think about something that you would love to have in your life, a goal that you would love to experience in your life, I have a question for you. And here's the question. And I want you to think about this question and answer without judgment and answer without getting upset. Just have the awareness. And here's the question: are you focusing on that outcome in your life every single day? Are you? Are you focused on it? Are you feeling the emotions that you would feel were you to have that accomplishment in your life now? Are you thinking and acting as the person who has already accomplished that goal? Now, I just asked you some really important questions, really important questions. And I would suggest you ask yourself these questions every day. Now, that's part of increasing your level of focus. But here's where it gets better, is when you follow through. So it's important to follow through on the practices that will create the focus of your outcome. And if you're not already involved in habitual practices, daily practices, in other words, you haven't disciplined yourself enough that every day you're focusing on the outcome, then begin at once. Now, what I did to discipline myself in the early days, when I finally realized that to take the results, any results, whether it's your earnings, your income, your financial situation, your relationships, your health, whatever it is, to take your results from where you are now to where you want to be definitely involves focus. But you have to know, what is that going to feel like? when you're there. And this is where you invite your imagination, right? You just imagine, now that I have that, whatever that is, the goal in your life, how do I feel? And so what I did to really, take things to a whole new level is I disciplined myself with checklists every day of the things that I would do every single day that would create that alignment, that would create that intensity, that would create that focus for me. And one of the practices or the disciplines that I became involved with is listening to my Power Life script every day. And it's easy to use. All you have to do is, once you write it and record it, is just push play. It's so easy, like just push play. Like I call it one finger or one touch enlightenment, right? All you do is push play and then bam, you're reprogramming your subconscious mind. That was one thing. Another exercise to intensify your focus is to ask yourself really inspiring questions. Questions like, now that, and this is where you can fill in the blank, right? Now that I've accomplished this, or now that this goal has manifested in my life, how do I feel? And if you just think about a goal that you have right now and something that you would love to experience in your life, ask yourself that question. Now that I have that in my life, how do I feel? And then go straight to feeling. And what you're doing is, and what you'll see is if you ask people a question, what do they usually do if they're searching for the answer? If someone's searching for an answer, they're usually looking up or they're looking away, right? They start, and what do you call that? You call that daydreaming, right? That's what our teachers called it when we were in school, when we were younger. But daydreaming is a very valuable thing to do. It's a great exercise to get involved in, is daydreaming about your accomplishments, which means you're imagining that you're in your life right now. And so a practice that you can get involved in as a discipline is to ask yourself that empowering question. Now that my goal has manifested in my life, how do I feel? So there's a great question. Now, another great question that you could also ask yourself is this: how would you feel and act right now? How would you feel and act right now if you had everything that you desired? How would you feel and act right now if you had everything that you desired? Now, these questions are questions that you can ask yourself on a regular basis. And you're here with me right now. And if you've written those questions down, brilliant. That's a great thing to do. But where you'll be able to utilize focus is by asking yourself that question and, of course, answering that question on a regular basis as well. And I would suggest every day. Every day you want these answers to be habitual for you. You want the answers to invite you to feel and to think as if that is in your life now. And through practice, you'll get to the point where these feelings of accomplishment and these thoughts of accomplishment are your habitual way of being. There's something that you become actively engaged in on a regular basis when you discipline yourself to follow through. But you must discipline yourself. And what's fun about the exercise is it's good for you. And that's what it brings. Good for you, and more good for you. So having a daily discipline checklist is a way of intensifying your focus, and being committed to certain things that you're going to do every single day is a great way to intensify your focus. And another suggestion to intensify your focus is to write out these questions or write out statements or affirmations or goals, things that'll create more of that alignment, and then put them in front of you so that you're seeing them every single day. I mean, think about, why do people make vision boards, right? Why does someone make a vision board? I'll tell you, there's two reasons. And the main reason, obviously, is to visualize, to create an image, because a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? To create an image of the things that you would love to have in your life. So that's really, a very valuable thing to do. But the other purpose of a vision board is this, and this may or may not be something that you're aware of. And here's what it is. Everything that you take in through your senses, Like right now, you're listening to me. You may be watching as well. So there's two senses, your hearing and your sight, right? So you're taking in information right now as you're here with me. And what's happening is this is making an impression into your subconscious mind, whether you're paying attention or not. It's like songs that you hear on the radio. They are making an impression in your subconscious mind. It's like when the television is on, but you're not paying attention. Like my mother used to turn on the television in the morning when she woke up, and it was pretty much on all day long. And she would fall asleep with the television on. She had one in her bedroom, and she would take the little remote device and she would program it to shut off after a certain period of time. So let's say she crawled in bed, she put on the news, and she would program her remote to shut off after 30 minutes because she would have been asleep by then. But what she didn't realize is that that news that's playing, which is probably the worst thing that you could be watching before you go to sleep, is making an impression into her subconscious mind. And the truth is that you start taking in information through your senses, through your sight, whether you realize it or not. So, having said that, what I would suggest is put reminders all around you, whether they're visuals, whether they're affirmations, whatever they are, all around you, so that they are making an impression on your subconscious mind, even though you may not be giving it your attention. Now, let's say you do decide to give these outcomes or your vision board, as an example, your attention. What I would suggest is that you use your phone and set the timer on your phone, because I believe every phone has the ability to do this. Set the timer on your phone for a minimum, like start by doing maybe just 5 minutes. And if that seems like a long period of time, start with a couple minutes and then add on as you're going along. But 5 minutes can be a long period of time when you're just staring, whether you're staring into space or you're staring at a candle, that's lit, and you're looking at the little, flame of the candle. But the point of focus and the point of, our session today is to suggest that you create these focus techniques, or you utilize these focus techniques to intensify your focus, on your goals, so that you can embody the feeling states of having that which you desire. So you can fully embrace it, so that you can just wrap your loving arms around it and feel one with the outcome. Feel as if you are one with that goal. And the more you do it, the better it goes. Because ultimately, what you're seeking to experience is you're seeking to experience more of a connection with that outcome as your dominant feeling, as your dominant thoughts and your dominant feelings. Okay. This is really what you want to do. And yeah. Yes, strengthening the will. Yes, you're right. It's absolutely. You mean look at the vision board for 5 minutes, says Chris? Yes, absolutely. Now, what some people do is they'll light a candle and they'll stare at a candle for 5 minutes, and you can certainly do that. But if I was going to stare at a candle for 5 minutes, what I would do is I would have an image in my mind that's going to be a depiction of my outcome, and have that in mind while I'm staring at the candle. The only reason why someone would light a candle and have a flame and stare at the flame is to intensify the focus. Now, here's a way of making it even better. Do you want to know how to make it even better? Here's a way of making it better. I would suggest, create your Power Life script and listen to it, like put on your headphones or earbuds or AirBuds or whatever you have that's going to cause you to listen, or just push play and let it play on the speaker. And then while it's playing, while your Power Life script is playing, stare at the candle. Okay. And look at your vision board. The truth is this, the truth is that you really want to be ensuring that every day you're giving your attention to, which means you're focusing on the outcomes of your goal. All right. I have so many goals and desires. This makes my focus move all the time. Any suggestions on how to deal with many dreams and goals? Okay. Love the question, Dawn. Thank you for asking. First of all, I just want to mention something in this question. Here's what Dawn said. I have so many goals and desires. This makes me. Nothing makes you do anything. Okay. Now, that's not a criticism, it's just an observation. I want everyone to understand this because this definitely serves you, right? And so, how do you deal with many dreams and goals? Pick one. Pick one. Now, if it's a vision board, you'll likely have a variety of those goals on your vision board. But at the end of the day, what you're really focusing on is your life, your amazing life. And I would suspect, and I don't know for sure because I don't know all your goals, but I would suspect that your goals are all in alignment. In other words, if you have goals for your family and you have goals for your career and you have goals for your health and you have goals for the way that you're living and how you're living and the home that you're living in, it's all harmonious, right? They all support and work together to some degree. Like, in other words, one of your goals is not going to negatively impact another goal. And having said that, what you're really focusing on is your amazing life. And that's why a Power Life script is so incredible because it really focuses on you living your amazing life. Now, one of the suggestions that I've heard from great masters that have gone on before us is that choose an image, like one image, that would be an unfoldment, that would represent the unfoldment of your desire. So, for example, let's say the goal that you have is to own your home outright. And let's say the goal that you have happens to be a goal that it's a home that you're in now, but you see yourself owning that home. Well, what would you see were you to be owning that home? Would you see a letter come into you from the bank that says congratulations, or would you see something from your lawyer or solicitor or attorney that says, just want you to know you're free and clear, that you own your home outright? Like, what would be the thing that you would see or have? Like, I'm an author, I'm working on my 21st book right now, and one of the visuals that I have being created by a graphics person that I know. I'm just making a note of this because I'm waiting for it to come in. And one of the visuals that I have is seeing it as a bestseller. And so I've asked a graphics person to take the cover of the book, of the new book, the one that I'm writing right now. And thank you, Jenny. And as a result of that, this individual is creating an image that I've asked him to put on the cover. And then once I have that back, then I'll be having it on my desk and I'll be putting it on my vision board and I'll put it on my bathroom mirror. And so it'll be an image that I see everywhere. But we're here today to talk about focus. So the best thing to do is to focus on that outcome. You can create images and pictures all day long. You could create Power Life scripts. But what you must do in order to manifest is you got to feel it. You got to really feel it in your heart. You have to know that that outcome is already there. So pick a goal, pick one goal and choose to focus on that. Now, that does not mean that you're not focused on all the other goals that you have for yourself. And you can still focus on all the other goals as well. My Power Life script includes everything. All my goals, they're all in the Power Life script. And I also have a goals journal. And I look at my goals journal. I'm pointing to my desk drawer here. I look at my goals journal every day, and all my goals are listed there. And they're all written in the present tense as if they're already done. So there's another way of focus, right? It gives me the focus. So when you're thinking about focus and you focusing on your goals, remember that the whole purpose behind it is to feel as if you already have the outcome. That's ultimately what you're looking to create. Okay, we have a few minutes left, and I know we have a number of questions that have already come in, so I'm going to go to those questions right now. Roddy has been on, and he's been helping grab the questions as well, so I appreciate that very much. Okay, so the question from Jungle, how do you deal with negative people? Well, first of all, I wouldn't deal with negative people at all. I would just not give them any attention and certainly not give them any focus, since today we're talking about focus. So, I don't give it any judgment. I don't get emotionally involved in it. Negative people are out there. As a matter of fact, it's pretty much everywhere you go. There's lots of negativity out there in the world. You just don't give it any attention, and you certainly do not let it in. Don't let it in. Do not allow anything outside of you to control what you're giving your attention to, what you're thinking and what you're feeling. Nobody has control over you. Nobody causes you to feel anything. You choose. You're at choice always, in all ways, on what you're choosing to focus on. So, just how do I deal with negative people? I don't let it in. Don't give it any attention. Don't get emotionally involved in it. I don't judge it either. Just is what it is. I understand why they're like that. I used to be like that. I can understand that. I can appreciate that. And frankly, appreciation is a good emotion. It's a positive emotion. So look for the good. There's blessings in everything. And just don't get involved in the negativity. It is as simple as that. Okay, Katia says, question about the Power Life script, which I am in love with. Me too, Katia. I have a financial goal. Can I include it in that? I'm earning X amount through MSI, or is this getting into the how? Thanks. Great question. I would say, could you say MSIs? You could. You don't have to say what they are. You could say that, or you could just say you're earning that. It could be one source. It doesn't have to be multiple sources. I know one of the affirmations that Bob Proctor used to have is that somebody on this call probably knows this like off by heart. Like I'm attracting money from multiple sources on a continuous basis and blah, 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 whatever it was. And is that getting into the how? It is kind of getting into the how. So what would I suggest? Just say that you're earning the income, unless you already do have the MSIs. If you're involved in MSIs, I'm involved in MSIs. I have multiple sources of income. And so it's very safe to say that because that's the truth. It is the way it is. But could the earning only come from one income? Definitely. So do you need to say it? You could. It's up to you whether you do or don't. But I don't think it's harmful to say it for sure. It is a great question. Okay. The dancing equestrian. Should you put a time in the Power Life script? Absolutely not. If you've been in the Power Life script program, in the training, I talk about that. You do not put a date, because if you're thinking in the future, that is where your goals always reside. And we manifest in the now. What you have, what every one of you has, is this moment right now. And whatever you're feeling right now is being attracted to you. So you want to feel as if the goals that you desire to experience in your life are already here. You know, now that those goals have been manifested in your life, how are you feeling? Right? Like I know Dawn has a number of goals. So Dawn, now that you've manifested all those goals, how do you feel? And that's the dominant attention. This is what you should be focusing on every day. You should be focusing on living as if those goals have already manifested in your life. That's what you want to be doing. And this is why it's so important to understand, thank you, Don, that you don't have to know how you're going to accomplish any of the goals that you set for yourself. As a matter of fact, you won't know how you're going to accomplish those goals. You wouldn't, because if you did know how, you would have done it already. And goals are designed to stretch you. Goals are for growth. That's the big benefit of goals. It will invite you to grow, and you will grow when you focus on the goal and when you continue to have your dominant feelings and emotions be in alignment with that which you desire. So there we go. Okay, Chris has a question. How can I feel and act and think like the person of my goal? Okay, so think about the goal that you have for yourself. And anyone that's on this call right now, or if you're watching the replay, I would suggest you get a goal. We're actually going to be doing some sessions in the next little while, free sessions, by the way, on goals. And so how do you feel and act? You imagine. So knowing that that goal is already in your life, you imagine, how would I be thinking? How would I be feeling? Thank you, Rasha. It's good to see you on here. I love that. So this is what I want you to do. Like, I know with every fiber of my being, what I'm sharing with you today can change your life. I know it. Absolutely know it. It's changed mine. And not only that, it's changed so many people's goals. But as you very likely know, this isn't a one-time thing. It's not. This is a dedicate your life thing. And when I say thing, I'm really referring to the study and the understanding of what does it take to really succeed. It is something that you absolutely must dedicate your life to. And the reason why you would want to is because your results get better and better and better. I think about Vladdy, who is part of our Dynamic Destinies team, who's on the call right now. She's our VP of sales. She's our success advisor. She works with people to help them understand which program would be the right fit for them. We've got a program called Skipping Levels, which is about quantum leap results. This is for those that have just said, you know what? It's time. It's time to really, really shift my results. And the only reason why Vladdy and I attracted each other into our life is because of her commitment. And she became a very serious student. And it wasn't even that long ago of these materials. And she got noticed. And I paid attention to her because I could feel her energy. I knew she was disciplined. I knew she was dedicated to it. And then what happens when you're dedicated and you're disciplined and you're focused on your goals is people will start to see the results. And it's like that statement, by their fruits, you will know them. You will know them. And so if I think about Chris's question, how would I feel and act were my goal manifested? I love that Chris is even asking, how would I feel and act knowing that my goal has manifested? This is going to cause Chris to be the greater version of who Chris already is. And there's so much more that Chris will experience and can experience. But it's a real devotion. It is a dedication. It is a lifelong commitment, which is exciting. That's the way I look at it. It's really exciting because you will find that your results get better and better and better. Okay, can a goal and vision that you have involve other people, like a partner that is going through a hard time? If I imagine a healthier version of him or her, would that affect their life? I love the question because it says to me what kind of a person you are, and I honor that. I think that's a beautiful gift. We had someone reach out to us recently who has a very close friend who's going through some health challenges, and this individual wanted to help them. And here's what I believe. There's energy in everything, right? And my energy doesn't stop within a 3-foot radius of where I'm sitting. It's expressed, right? It goes out into the world. And that when you get people focused on a particular result, like let's say there was an individual that was unhealthy, but all of their family members and all of their friends, all they did was they focused and they saw this person healthy. Could that impact them? Yes, it can. But it does, ultimately it does come down to that individual. But yeah, you can impact them. So the question was, can you involve, can the goal that you imagine involve other people? Yes, definitely. So in my Power Life script, as an example, I include my family. I include, the people that are closest to me, my husband, my son, my daughter-in-law, my grandchildren. They're big part of my life, the biggest part of my life. They're my priority in my life. And absolutely, I talk about them and my goal. And one of the things I'll wrap up with a story that really answers this question as well. And a number of years ago, my husband and I had been married for a few years, and I've had multiple properties over the years. I'm in a loving way addicted to real estate. I love real estate. I love buying real estate, selling real estate, getting investment properties, etc. And I had, even when I met Denny, I think I had 3 properties when I first met him, and then it was 4. And so I had sold, after we got together, I had sold this waterfront property that I had, which was simply a cottage, a place that we go to weekends or in the summer in the nice weather. And my husband had no desire to have a waterfront place. And I was raised where my father had built this cabin on a lake in the Muskokas, and my grandmother owned a big piece of land in an area called Port Carling. And we used to go up there. And so my best memories of childhood were up at the cottage or the cabin. And so that's big part of why I believe it's, in my system, if you will, that I have to have waterfront. Well, my husband didn't want waterfront. But in my Power Life script, I talked about how not only did we buy a waterfront place, but that my husband was thanking me and that he was very happy and that he loved it, even though he would declare, I don't want a waterfront place. Like, what do I want two places? And in his mind, it just didn't make sense. Like, we can just go rent something. And now they have Airbnb. They didn't at that time, but now they have Airbnb, and you could certainly, go rent a place, using Airbnb. And so I didn't let his ideas in. There's an expression that I heard many years ago, which can really serve you. And the expression goes like this: deny the evidence of the senses. It's like, don't let anything in to your consciousness that doesn't support the outcomes that you desire. So don't look at your bank statement and get emotionally involved in that while you're desiring to have more prosperity, right? Don't look at your sales results when you desire to have better results and get and stay emotionally involved in that. So what do you want to do? Well, you want to see and act and feel as if that goal is already in your life. And so that's what I was doing. And unbeknownst to my husband. And now, was it hurting him? No. Was it harmful to him? No. In fact, it was a good thing for him because, he was going to benefit from another real estate transaction. And so what happened was, I found a place. I went to see it. I negotiated a deal. I bought the place. My husband was kind of a little bit resistant while that part was going on, but I was very clear on what I was doing. And then after we bought it, we're sitting on the deck one evening, and the sun was setting directly in front. And he turned to me and he said, "Thank you." And I said, "What are you thanking me for? I didn't make the sun, I didn't have it go down. I mean, it was just such a beautiful setting. It was a gorgeous evening." And he turned to me and said, "Thank you." And I knew what he meant, but I asked him, I said, "Why are you thanking me?" And he said, I'm thanking you for, encouraging us to buy this place." And it was so amazing because that experience was something that I saw in my mind's eye. I saw it long before the actual event occurred because I focused on it, because I chose to focus on it. And so, yeah, you can have goals for other people for sure, as long as they don't harm anyone. And in this case, obviously, you're a very loving person, you're deeply caring, and your question is asked from the spirit of benefit, right? This would benefit the other. So that's what I would say with that, is that if you're going to focus or have someone else involved in your goal, you're welcome, Michelle, then you definitely want to do something that's positive. So I love that you asked the question. I think it says a lot about who you are. Okay, well, we've gone beyond the 30-minute mark, but that's okay. We have another question here that I would love to answer. And the question is how would I feel if I already had achieved my goal? Yes. So the question is, now you can word the question in a way that speaks to you. Okay. So I've got a couple different versions of the questions that I ask myself. And one of them is this, now that this goal is accomplished, how do I feel? Right? Now that this goal is accomplished, how do I feel? Or now that I have this in my life, how do I feel? Or now that, and you can even be specific. So let's say now that I'm a New York Times bestselling author, this is what I did when I decided to be, and I am a New York Times bestselling author. When I decided to be a New York Times bestselling author, I asked myself that question. Now that I'm a New York Times bestselling author, how do I feel? And when you ask yourself that question in the beginning, it may feel like you're lying to yourself. And that's okay, because you are. I mean, you are. But ultimately, what you want to do and what you want to feel is that it's not a lie. It's the truth. And I'm certain you've heard the expression, if you hear a lie often enough, you will start to believe it. If you hear a lie often enough, you will start to believe it. This is the reason why the Power Life script works so magnificently. Because when you're listening to it as instructed over and over again every single day, you're impressing that into your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind has no ability to accept or reject. Your subconscious mind receives information through repetition that gets impressed into your subconscious mind. This is how your subconscious mind works, and you will believe it. That's why when a child who's young is told, you're so smart, you're so incredible, you get great grades, like you're brilliant, you're wise, you have a high IQ, and they're told that over and over and over and over again, they start to believe it. Now, the opposite is true as well, where somebody is told, oh, you're clumsy, you can't do anything right, da da da. And that kind of thing goes on as well. And that, so people are raised with what? With low self esteem. Why? Because it was programmed into their subconscious mind through time, over time. That's how they're programmed. And so when you understand how you're programmed, you can also understand and respect the fact you can reprogram yourself. That's what I did. That's what many others have done. You reprogram yourself. You reprogram your subconscious mind. And you're only reprogramming your subconscious mind with only the understandings, the truths, the ideas that are going to support you in the accomplishment of your goal. That's what you're going to reinforce. I like Vladdy's question here. Would you love to create a phenomenal life and results that I can help you? Absolutely. I know I can. I'm not one of those people that are out there in the world, pretending to be this expert in success and not having anything substantial behind it. My life has been getting better and better and better since January 1979 when I began studying it. And I'm not claiming to know it all because I think it's a dangerous place to be. Yeah, time to reprogram me. I love that. You're absolutely right. And so we can help for sure. Now, Roddy put a link in here in the chat box that says, if you're interested in finding a little bit more about our other programs, book an appointment with Vladdy. And Vladdy is a real live example of someone who's transformed her life. When I met her, she was just going through a health diagnosis. She was at a point in her life, what am I going to do with my life? And now, man, that woman is so focused. She's laser focused and she's on track, and she's been continually creating better and better results, which means her life is getting better and better and better. And so hence the reason why Vladdy and I work together, hence the reason why Roddy and I work together. We don't share the same heart, but we share the same deep caring for you. We care about other people. We genuinely care, and we want to help people get better results. I don't have to work anymore. I work because I love it. I work because I know people need what I have, and I can definitely help you. I can support you. We can help you get to where you want to go. Right. So, okay, I think we've answered all the questions for today. So we're going to call it a wrap today. Vesna, I'm not sure what your comment means, but yeah, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you are here. Like, we are always here to serve. We do have an event coming up on December 13th. It's free. And the event is called Be Free in 2023. It's going to be the first of actually 3 events that we're going to be doing. We're going to spread them up. You're welcome, Dawn. We're going to spread them out over a period of time. Oh, that's beautiful. I love this question. What are your best memories with the late Bob Proctor? Please share. I love that question. You know what, Sadesh, we'll do a session on that. Okay. Jen is also on the call. Jen is working with us. She does all of our social media stuff. Jen, let's do our next event on that, on what are the greatest lessons. I'm actually writing Savvy Wisdom from Beyond right now. That's my 21st book. It will be released on February 3rd, 2023. And even though Bob is no longer on the planet, Savvy, the character, was originally created as a result of meeting him and him transforming my life. I created another fictional character called Sophie, which is me. It's based on my life. And Sophie meets Savvy. And they're fiction stories. They're parables, if you will. They're real life lessons. Thank you for asking. Real life valuable lessons that I've earned. Thank you, the Dancing Equestrian. She says, I love that book. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Thank you, Vesna. Vesna says, read my comments in whole together. Insta is limiting on words. Okay. No worries. We'll do that for sure. So yeah, let's do that, because obviously because I'm in the process of writing book number 21, which is Savvy Wisdom from Beyond. Bob was a very close friend of mine. I'm really missing him. I find that, he's been gone from this earthly plane since February 3rd, but man, I miss our laughs. I miss our talks. It was about a year ago that my husband and I were having dinner with him and his wife, Linda. And I really miss him. I miss being able to call him and hearing his voice. He was such a gift to this world. Nobody like him. There never will be anybody like him. He was extraordinary. And so I appreciate you guys. We'll be back again next week, of course, and we're doing an event. So make sure that you are on our database, and you can go to peggymccall.com. That's my main website. We have free videos that we send out. Thank you, Vesna. It's very sweet of you. We have videos that we send out 3 times a week now. They're success videos, tips for success, and they're free, totally free. They're delivered right to your inbox. But you have to go to our email. You have to go and subscribe from our website. You'll be on our email list. And then we'll let you know about our other free events as well, because we've got some coming up, some really exciting ones coming up as we near the end of 2022, and we're about to approach 2023. So I really appreciate you guys, and I look forward to being back with you again real soon. So thank you so much.